Hi, this is Hamsika, and welcome to Stories with Swansea Presents The Real Deal, where we discuss and dissect everyday situations that influence and shape our lives. Whether it's the unspoken impacts of generational trauma, challenging the expectations of society, or exploring practical ways to bring more peace, balance, and joy into our daily existence. We share stories and lived experiences that are raw, heartfelt, and will leave you with questions. So, if you're looking for a podcast that feels like chatting with a friend about the real, relatable parts of life, you have come to the right place. Let's cut through the noise and get straight to the matter with no filters and sugarcoating. Because this isn't a fictional deal, it is the real deal. Hello, welcome back, everybody. Another episode of The Real Deal. So, today we are going to talk about the society rule book. A lot of us are victims of these, the norms that the society has set up for us. When I say society rule book, it's not like a book that is literally written what, things need to be done and stuff, but it's an understanding in everybody's head that this is the norm and this is how exactly it needs to be done. I mean, most of them don't question, they just follow. They just, fall into that trap. Someone ages ago has dictated that this is how this person or this gender should be, and this is how the rule book is, and this is how everyone needs to follow. So I was a society rule book follower as well, like an ardent follower. Like I was a bhakt of the rule book because I would never go here and there. And I never questioned as well. So even in my head, it was like, this is the norm. I don't need to ask questions as to why I need to do it. Sometimes I wouldn't like what I'm doing, but I still had to do it because, I mean, come on, someone has dictated that this is how it is in the rule book. So, everyone needs to follow it. And a lot of people like me exist still today, till date. There are so many people who go through this. In fact, I can say majority of them go through the stress and pressure because of this rule book, because they think that they cannot do anything out of the box. They cannot do anything out of whatever it says in the rule book. So, what does this rule book actually say? It's different, I think, for men and women. Like, when we talk about men, they are always expected to be the head of the family figure where all the decision takes place with them. They are the ones who make the decisions. So the gender roles actually come into this a lot because the rule book has different rules for men. It has different rules for women. So for men, I feel like they have this pressure that they are the earning member of the family and they need to always have a good job, a secure job. Like not everyone were allowed to experiment a lot with their careers before, like engineering or doctor or a lawyer. Like those were the only safe options that men used to have. Most of them, the parents still used to say, get a government job, so that you get pension and all those things. Not everyone were encouraged to step out. It's the same with women as well. Not everyone were. With women, it's on another level because not everyone, first of all, gets supported to have that education. Even the basic education they feel is not necessary for a woman because in their heads, as per the rule book, she's going to be married anyway and she's going to go into her husband's house. So what is the whole point of, spending so much money on her education when all she has to do is, get married, go to her husband's place, have kids, just stay at home and not do anything for herself. Growing up, I've seen a lot of these gender roles. Like when you're growing, you're seeing gender roles pretty much everywhere, and it occurs till date. So there are gender based roles in pretty much every household. Anything to do with finance, anything to do with like decision making and stuff. It's always sitting with the father figure, with the male figure, and anything to do with kitchen, cooking, cleaning, washing, all these sits with the mother figure. And kids actually grow up watching parents do two different things. Not in every household, everybody does everything. I remember one of my close friends telling this to me, like something that she has put into practice because now she has a young boy. So she said it so beautifully that she doesn't want her son to grow up watching parents do different kinds of roles. He needs to know it's okay for him to be in the kitchen and cook food. He needs to know it's okay for him to, take financial advices from his partner. So as a couple, they're putting all the effort to make sure anything and everything that they do in in their home, they do it together. So the kid grows up to know that, like, you have to involve your partner in every decision that you take. You're supposed to be involved in every aspect of the house, and not just, limiting the women in just the kitchen and cleaning area, and men into all these, paying bills, paying mortgages and stuff. So with this whole concept of this gender based rules and the society rule book, whether we like it or not, like, even in our subconscious mind, we somewhere tell ourselves that, okay, this department belongs to me, this is where I have to be, or this is something that I need to take care of. I don't need to involve my husband in this. It's the same with men. They feel like, I don't have to let my wife know what has changed. Maybe some you changed your electricity provider, you changed your, let's say, something about your car. Every small thing needs to be discussed. That's the whole point of living together. You're sharing everything. Come one day, if you're on your own, or even if you're with your partner or whoever is in the house, if they are sick, you should be able to manage every aspect of the house and not depend on someone else to come and take care of it. So, unless you know what is happening in the house, unless you know every department in the house, there is no way you can function. So we need to make an effort to understand everything that they are doing, and they need to make an effort to understand everything that we are doing. With the feminine side of, that energy, nurturing is very, I think it comes very naturally. For some men also, it does come, but when you take a majority, I feel like men are more practical, and like, women are more emotionally bound. So it is hard to find a balance when sharing a lot of things, because they look at things in a different way. We look at things in a different way. I'm not talking about the concept of equality here, because there are some things which women are genuinely really good in doing. And if they want to do it, that's totally fine. But it's important for men to know at least some aspect of it, like say, cooking or cleaning. The way women do is totally different from the way men do, but men should at least know how to clean. They don't have to do it as she is doing. She's good, she can manage it, but it's not like you shouldn't know anything about it. There might be some of the financial aspects in which men are really good. As women, we don't have to, like, break our head into understanding everything, but we should know what is happening. At least you should know the basics. So if not everything about, what the other person is doing, at least you should have the basic knowledge. Challenging these societal norms is very crucial. When kids grow up seeing all these things, they are going to put the same pattern in their lives, and they're going to suffer at a later stage, because they never saw their dad do so and so. So for them, it's like, why am I doing so and so? They've always seen their mom in the kitchen. Anytime the guests come, the mothers are always stuck in the kitchen. All the women are stuck with her in the kitchen. All the men are sitting around, chatting things. You do everything together, then just bring everything out to the table. All the husband, wife sit together, enjoy the drinks, enjoy the snacks, have a good conversation, have a good laughter. The whole point of catching up is to catch up as a family. If you just want to, like, divide men and women even over there, you can just have your own, like a women kitty party, or a men, whatever, men's party, whatever they do. What is the point of having a family gathering if that is what you want to do? So these are, like, there are so many societal norms like this. This is just like the basics that I'm touching on. One of the other aspects of this rule book while I was growing up was, so if you're born a boy, you can, play as much sport as you want. Not all girls are encouraged. Some homes did still encourage, like when you're in school you can play and other stuff, but not like too much joining classes and then playing around, because there was always this concept of, oh, you're going to get tanned, you're not going to get a suitable groom in future, your skin is going to be damaged, your hair is going to be damaged, you cannot do that. And swimming was not allowed, because you can't wear short clothes. Not all girls were allowed to do swimming. It was okay for men, but not for women. And for women, it was more like cultural aspects, like dance, music, and things like that. If you want to do tailoring and typewriting and like those kind of things, and not being out and playing and going roaming around with friends. Men could go out whenever they want. They could hang out with their friends, come back home late. But we always, as like, I understand the safety aspect, but then sometimes it was not even the safety aspect. It was just that women cannot do so and so. These things are only for men. Now I see like a total shift. There are so many new age parents who are not doing so with their kids. But again, there are people from this generation, from my generation as well, who have probably gone through the same thing and are still doing the same thing with their kids also, and not, changing for the better. There were so many boys who were shamed if they had to learn dance. Anything to do with, senior officers, like, or anything to do with a higher position in any company, there is always this feeling that women cannot do so and so. So even in the professional world, things work very differently because of all these societal norms that has, been followed for ages now and still being followed. Like if there's a new mom or a new dad, the way they consider men for certain roles is different to the way they consider women. For them, they always feel like women have to run back home if the child needs her. So we cannot, give her a position like this, even though she is more deserving than the male candidate. She's not going to get it only because she's a mother. She might have to go home at any time. She might have to take care of her kids. She might have to take off because of her kids not being well. But whereas even if it's like a new father, they don't see all these things with men. Like, what if he has to go back home to take care of the kids? What if he has to go back home to be there for the kids? If that is okay, why not this? I guess everywhere it kind of looks like it's a man's world. There was a very beautiful video which went viral where a little girl is asking, why does everyone say man-made? Why is there a phrase called it's a man's world? And the mother couldn't answer, so she was asking, what do you think it should be? And the girl is like, why can't it be a woman's world? Why do they always associate strong with men and weak with women? Is it wrong to cry? And that's the other thing. Like as per the society rule book, men cannot cry because if they cry, that shows that how weak they are. So crying is associated to weakness. And I love men who can be emotional, who can be vulnerable, and who actually cry, because they're just showing the world that you cannot stop me from going through an emotion that I'm living through. So many men, they go through so many things, but then because of the pressure that they have from the society that men cannot cry and they get ridiculed for crying, they just hold on everything within themselves and not, um, you know, like take it out, like be vulnerable. The amount of relief that you get when you cry, and that negative thing, like it physically leaves your body. That feeling physically leaves your body, and I feel so bad for a lot of men, like really good hearted men. They go through all these things, but somewhere subconsciously they feel like they cannot cry. It's all because of the things that they have grown up watching. And while growing up, there was this thing that people used to say, ಅವನೊಬ್ಬ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೆಂಗಸರು ತರ ಅಳ್ತಾನೆ, or he cries like a girl. They say be a man. So that means that you cannot be vulnerable, you cannot cry, you always have to be strong, you always have to be that person who has that authority. And if a woman, if a lady, if a girl is a strong personality, and if she can take her own decisions, she doesn't need anyone to tell her what she needs to do, and if she comes across like really confident and stuff, they say gandabiri. I don't know the exact translation that I can say in English, but it's more like it's like comparing her to a man. So that means all these being strong, being like vocal, everything is associated to a man, whereas the crying aspect is associated to a girl. Like being vulnerable is associated to a girl. It's very difficult to everyone to challenge these societal norms, because some don't even want to do it. For them, it's like, why am I questioning something that my parents have followed, my grandparents have followed, my great grandparents have followed, my forefathers, my ancestors have followed? How can I question that? It's not a part of our culture to question our elders. Again, the culture aspect comes in. So, this concept of whatever has, been formed until now is the correct one, and you cannot question anything back, is something that has affected most of us and is still affecting and will like affect other people further. But with kids these days, they're pretty smart. They're not like how we used to be. And it's good that they're smart and they question things. They want answers. They want to know, be it, like boys or girls. Like they just want to know why they don't follow anything blindly. They need to know why they're doing so and so. But whereas we hardly asked any questions, which now I feel like it was not the right thing to do, but it was, as I said in my very first episode, growing up in the 90s, it was a totally different era altogether. The evolution that our generation saw, no other generation probably has seen so much. I want to end the episode by saying we all know that these changes cannot happen overnight, but there are so many small changes that we can bring in our everyday lives just to, set an example for the kids growing up. The kid doesn't have to be your own kid. The youth, the generation, the younger than you, like, who look up to you, when they see you handling all the aspects of a home, of your workplace, of anything which are gender based, they know that they can do it too. I know I didn't touch on so many other topics. It's difficult to understand like which topics to talk about. It's difficult to filter because there are so many. Like, how do you filter which ones? And you can't just keep one person cannot keep talking about it. Probably when I have like guests on my show, that will probably be a good thing to discuss as one of the topics, because perspectives are different. The way I look is something different to the way other person looks. So when we have a conversation, probably a lot more can happen than just me having a conversation on my own. So I've touched only like a few topics that comes under these rule books, but I hope to do more episodes with some of the guests and get more out of this rule book, and also talk about how we can challenge whatever we can challenge and just change it for the betterment of our lives and as well the society. So if you have any of these experiences, like challenging these societal norms and doing something out of the box, do let me know in the comments. So anyway, I will catch you again in the next episode. Until then, tata. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It truly means a lot to me to know that there are supportive listeners out there who appreciate the sharing of relatable thoughts and experiences. If you liked and related to what you listened to today, let me know in the comments. And also, please support by following, rating, and sharing the podcast on Spotify and YouTube. The related links are all in the description. Let's have a chat again next week. Until then, please make sure to take care of yourself so you can take care of others.